I just had an experience that is not uncommon and not unfamiliar. And that was the experience of seeing a part of my body on camera. It's not always on camera, but in this instance it was. And feeling shame, feeling disgust, feeling the reaction of disgust arise within me. And first I noticed there was shame in response to that, and then I noticed that there was anger. There was anger, there was rage at a society that would teach us and condition us to so indiscriminately and automatically disown our own natural bodies, to hate our forms so much. And then, after the anger, came the realization that this is a society that has never learned to love itself. This is a society that hates itself, and every time I see a part of my body and I feel this reaction of disgust arise within me, that's not my feeling. That is the pattern, conditioned, of a society that is looking at itself and reacting that same way. And I don't want to perpetuate that anymore. I want to look at society with softer eyes and realize that it is perfect, that it is beautiful, that it's not lacking, that it's not incorrect, that there is nothing wrong actually with it, that all it needs is to learn how to accept itself the way that it is. And in accepting itself, it stops fighting against itself, it stops trying to become something else, and it realizes its own perfection. Perception creates everything. When we as individuals rail against ourselves and hate ourselves, we're just disallowing the realization, and so the experience of our perfect beauty. And when we as society turn that same loathful gaze upon our own collective, then that is what we see and that is what we experience. And if we want to experience society in its naturally elevated form, then what we have to do is perceive it that way. We have to treat it with the same unconditional love and acceptance that we are learning now to give ourselves. And see that society too is just a larger organism that is growing and evolving the same way we are. And it doesn't have a final form. It doesn't have a perfect shape. It's not meant to be one thing. It's not meant to look one way. It is meant to continuously grow. And every step of that growth is perfect and beautiful. It's not a misstep, it's not a mistake. It's not something we're waiting to shift out of. It's perfect as it is. And when we learn to appreciate it as it is, as we learn to appreciate ourselves as we are, not as we think we ought to be, as we are. When we appreciate and love the details of our being right now in this very moment, then we're able to experience the true nature of our being, of all being, which is all one and all connected. And the self-loathing stops. The loathing of self at the individual level and the loathing of self at the collective level. And then we're free to really be whoever and however the fuck we want to. Which is joyful and well and eternal and vibrant and loving and kind. Because that is what we are. That is what we are. We've just forgotten. And that's okay. We come to this place to forget so that we can have the joyful and empowering experience of remembering. And we are remembering. We are waking up to what we have always known. But when you're born knowing something, you can't quite taste the magic of that knowledge. The magic comes with the acquisition of it. How do you acquire that which is already yours? You have to forget that it is yours. But then the experience of remembering is so, so sweet. And that's what we're doing. We're remembering our perfection. We're remembering our eternal and intrinsic beauty at every level of being. And so I want to offer this society that has never learned to love itself and has never been given, perhaps, unconditional love. I want to give it that. I want to love us exactly as we are. Because there is not a way that we should be. We simply are. And that is perfect. And I am delighted, sincerely, genuinely delighted to witness us.